last night I got an email from 11 Audio, and they are saying that they're trying to finalize what's going to be called a KDAC. It's going to be about half the price of the Sagra. It's supposedly still going to be R2R configuration, and so anyway, looking forward to that. I don't know when it's going to be available, but that brought us on a path thinking, we've never really done like a system tier list where we're like, let's talk about what package to put together for each of our headphones. Yep. We've talked that we did an amplifier tier list, which we'll link to in this
individual
video.
Components.
Yeah, right. We talked. We did talk a little bit about the sound of each one and what it relates to in terms of our headphones, but we never really talk about package. And I get phone calls and emails. We get phone calls and emails all the time, and where people want to know what I need to buy. So let's cover that. So this one, I guess we're going to try to keep mostly for the upper echelon of stuff. We'll probably do a budget video, I guess, later.
Yeah,
right?
so I think we're going to do like mid-tier and up in this video. Then we'll try to do a lower cost component one when you're trying to buy a very expensive headphone but run it on a little lower cost gear. We'll do a video for that in the future.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
Start from the top.
Yeah. So I guess we'll start with our lower end headphone, which is it's just most people's upper end headphone, but our Diana V2. And what electronics we'll recommend with that.
Yeah, so the V2, it being our entry level headphone, we designed it more or less to work well with most music. So it doesn't need an ultra resolving system to sound its best, which actually can be a pretty big advantage. Most people don't really understand this, but a lot of times your recordings aren't always spectacular. And having a system that's a bit more forgiving that makes not spectacular recordings sound great, most people find desirable, especially in the lower cost where your gear isn't perfection, it's just good. So for this, we like a system that's a little warmer and a little bit more forgiving. The DAC we're going to recommend with this is going to be the 11 Audio KDAC. It's designed to work with our products, and we expect that it'll deliver in that price point category. But
even though it's not available yet, that would be where I would go.
Based on all our initial understandings, that seems to be the play.
Yeah.
We'll have a video about it, of course, when we get one of these in here. And the amp with that, I think we're going to have to go with the 11 Audio Broadway.
Balanced.
Yes, not the S model. It's not powerful enough to really drive something like a V2.
Where the Broadway is because it's fully balanced, it's twice as much power as the S.
Yeah, the full-size Broadway, balanced, really great sound signature, nice and warm. Most people find it very pleasing. You could really throw a whole range of music through that thing, and it sounds great.
Yeah, I prefer the word smooth than warm. It's not really a warm amp. It's detailed. It's got excellent bass response. Warm. The problem with warm is people think like tube gear, the old tube gear. And stuff like that.
Yeah,
they think the tubes are glowing and everything's warm.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a tube.
Yeah, no, it's pretty detailed, but it doesn't go.
Well, I mean, warm in like the comforting kind of sense.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
it's got such amazing bottom end response that you might, compared to other amps that sound lean and bright, this thing's full out. So it's it's more or less.
It sounds more powerful than the numbers would suggest.
Yeah, right. You look at this amp, go, Jesus, how does it do that?
It's got an appealing form factor. Nice, fits on a desk, easy. It's got all the features you want. It's got good volume and gain. It does a really great job. It's got a very desirable sound signature, and it sounds more or less similar to the top-end flagship stuff from other companies.
That, and we've sold a lot of them with the V2, so we know everybody's never heard a complaint. People are like, whoa, this is nice.
Well, and they're both designed to work together, so it'll match just like this stack. They'll be the same width. So
the new KDAC, I guess, will be a similar form factor as the Broadway balanced. So
yeah, I think that's a good package. Fits well together. Price points are pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, for the high end at least.
Yes, I mean it's not inexpensive.
But
it's. But I mean, you're probably averaging. You're going to be a little over the cost. The electronics with the DAC and the amp, you're probably going to be, a little over the price of the headphone. So that's not crazy for a system of that performance level. So.
Well, we're assuming.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
But we know Michael, and we know what kind of designer is. So he's not. It won't be a Saga, but it'll be close enough where it's going to be a nice entry system for that. Well, maybe not quite entry, but
well,
not entry.
Yeah,
kind of. The value DAC is kind of always the hard bargain. It seems to be really hard to find a DAC in like the $500 to $1,500 type of range that performs exceptional. That performs better than the rest. Everything else is kind of just like they're all right, but there's nothing really special or stand out.
Yeah, which is why we have a hard time trying to do a DAC tier list video, because it's like, wow. Yeah, we kind of talked about the DACs we like. Really. And then so we don't like talking about things we don't like.
Well, I mean, technically there are a ton of options. But.
There are a ton, yeah. Most of which we haven't tried.
None of which are super affordable. So if you want to get like a $500 DAC and then a $2,000 DAC and a $10,000 DAC, you really can't do that well. There's really one or two DACs that we really like, and then it goes into
the stratosphere.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't even get into that.
Yeah, right. Well, we will in this video because top shelf. We're going to do one top shelf system. Yeah. So anyway, the next one we got to do then is the Diana Phi, which is our next up model, which offers a bit more resolution, more space than the V2, and of course with that it makes it more particular as to the electronics, because now it's looking for, it's looking for really nice stuff, nicer. I shouldn't say really nice, but it's a bit more finicky. A number of people have mentioned that in the past, and it's not that it's a bright headphone or anything. It's just that it's got more resolution than the V2, and it was purposely designed to go with. It's basically a step down from the big guy, like the 1266. So it's purposely made to go with really nice electronics for people that don't want to wear a 1266 or to go on portable. So
it's an unusual headphone. It's pretty much a flagship headphone in a small and light package, and so when you look at it, you assume, well, I could probably drive this on more affordable gear. And you can, but for the most part, the V2 is better suited for that. Yeah. The Diana Phi is really tailored towards pretty high-end gear because it's very resolving. And that actually can be a demerit if you don't have high-end gear, because you'll hear the less than refined nature of your hardware.
Yeah, and that goes for the music, too. I mean, if you're listening to stuff that's a bit rough, it actually helps it to have better gear that's a bit smoother and doesn't have a bite to it.
Refined.
Yeah, you don't want edginess in the electronics beating against the edginess in your recordings and then throw it into a high-res headphone. It's just a bad combination. So, again, what we're discussing here is really, really good systems. And you can mix and match these, too, a little bit. You can go, there's other options, but this is what we would typically recommend.
Yeah, this is a reasonable configuration.
Yeah, and if we're going to step through a couple configurations, this is what we would normally go.
Well, on to the middle child here. Diana Phi, we would recommend stepping up to the Sagra as the DAC, assuming it'll have more from having, again, not hearing the new KDAC, but it should have more resolution.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to have, it's got a really beefy power supply, and it's top shelf DAC. We use this DAC with everything.
It should pair well with, we know it pairs well with the Diana Phi. That's what I mean, it allows the Sagra to sing, the GSX Mini. Yeah. It's not a hindrance. It's very transparent amp, and lets you hear right to the source. And if your source is good, it'll let you hear that.
The nice thing about the GSX Mini too is it's not over the top resolution, but it's really good. It's got good clarity. It's got a good sense of space, and you combine that with the Sagra, which is smooth yet detailed and very quiet background. And the D-Phi will just sing off of that, because the Diana Phi is, it's giving you all that resolution, but you're not going over the top on any component. So you could play a lot of genres and stuff on it, right? So it's a good combination. So
they all play off each other very well.
Yeah, totally. So I would agree to Sagra dock, GSX Mini, and a Diana Phi. And you could mix and match on the amp. You could go the Broadway balance too. The Broadway balance is very good with the D-Phi.
You could even go with a Formula S if all you're at if
sure.
you wanted to.
Yeah.
So the Diana Phi, I think, is in that sense a bit more forgiving on the amp, because you could get away with most any high-end amp. The trouble is it does need to be high-end. So the DAC, I think, is more critical on that one. But we know the Sagra runs really great for D-Phi. That's definitely a recommendation.
Yeah, it's almost like a minimum.
But pretty much any high-end amplifier does a good job. I do think the Formula S, the Broadway, GSX Mini, or even the HPA4 do a really nice job on that headphone.
Yeah, the HP4, I found it to be better with a 1266 for some reason than a Diana Fi, but we've also had people use HP4 on Diana Fi and really like it. I think it depends on where you are, where you're coming from, the type
what
of
you're
music.
listening to.
Yeah.
It's not like a classic rock kind of amp,
Yeah.
which is probably what you're listening
Yeah,
to.
I mean, it's a really more.
Yeah.
It's not clinical, but it's a clean sounding amp.
Yeah.
A lot of people consider it to be very neutral, and people who are in that signature that like that signature, yeah. But it's definitely a good amp. But I think that one I'd throw more toward a 1266 than a Diana 5 for just because it just tilts toward wanting the bigger headphone where you could span it out and fill out the bass a bit more. The 1266 is a little more adjustable for the amp, where the Diana Fi is pretty much going to be put it on your head and that's what it is.
But
so that's just the way I'm looking
as
at
with
it.
anything, it's taste.
Yeah, it totally depends. I guess I like that. I like it better comboed with the 1266 because you can adjust the 1266 for the electronics a bit. Where the Diana series aren't so much made for that. But anyway,
understandable.
just my opinion, and
Yeah.
trying a few of them. But
I think it works pretty well with HiFi.
but it does. It's a very good amp. It's something we recommend with 1266. So, which brings us to the next kit, which would be the 1266, the AB 1266 TC, and the light version.
Yeah, we're going to have two packages for this one.
Yeah.
So we'll have like a entry-level 1266, so to speak, and then the gold standard 1266 package.
The all-out.
Yeah.
if you want to just put this together and be done with it type thing.
Pretty much, yeah.
And you got some bling to spend, but yeah.
Because there's pretty big variances in the cost of this hardware.
Yeah, we're going to really double down twice here. So, but yeah.
So 1266, people may be aware, it's a pretty high-end headphone, and as a result, naturally you'd kind of want to pair it with high-end gear. So this one, we're kind of looking to start off at very, very good gear. The entry-level package is going to have some really nice stuff for it to really sing well. Otherwise, you're kind of better off going with a lower-end headphone and getting better gear then. But for 1266, what's our recommended minimum package?
Well, for solid state, we do love the 11 audio. Of course.
Well, Formula S.
Yeah, Formula S
specifically.
was designed for the 1266. And so, it's got the proper current, proper voltage gain. It's just set up for that.
It was designed for it.
Yeah.
So
Full Class A.
works pretty well.
It's a good amp. So, yeah, that would be definitely the go-to amp.
And if you wanted to, you can get the Power Man to go with it.
Yeah.
Not a requirement.
Yeah,
But
it's upgradable too. So as an upgrade path, you can actually get an external power supply for it. But with the light package, we don't need to go there right now. But it can happen. And a lot of people do that. A lot of people just go for the power supply a little bit later, and
Right.
for that extra,
yeah, it has been seeming that
a little
it's
bit
about
extra.
3 to 6 months later, people get the Power Man
Yeah.
after getting a Formula
It
S.
seems to be lately. It's been 50-50. Like I've been finding people are just ordering it.
Yeah.
Some people order it the next day.
Yeah, that's
They're
happening.
like, oh, you know what, the hell with it. That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
I'll just get the damn thing.
Have seen it the next day.
Because I get it. You're thinking about it. It's like, well, I can always get it any time, and you're like, I'll just get it.
Well, actually, one person ordered it the next day, but they didn't even get the amp yet, and they ordered it the next day.
Yeah.
It was being shipped to them still. So.
Right. Well, that's kind of what I mean by next
Yeah.
day. They didn't even see the trucks. But it's so we got a gamut. But bottom line is that's the go-to amp for the 1266 in the solid state for sure.
Yep.
And I don't really know of any tube amps in that price range that have enough power. I mean, there is people have used the Woo WA5 too for a tube kit if you're into the 300B type of sound. But I think for 1266, we've been just most people have been preferring solid state. I think because part of it is they didn't want to heat the room up with
Well,
it.
that's part of it, and just power
I
requirements.
mean, it is what it is if you go to tubes, but yeah, and it's a big unit. You're talking a 2-piece chassis, so it takes up significant real estate.
Well,
you
and
got no
height
place to
too,
put
yeah,
it.
with the tubes and everything.
Yeah,
You can't put it
it's
underneath
cool.
things.
I think it's worth it for the money, but
yeah,
people.
if you have a place to put it, yeah.
Yeah, but so far we've been pretty fortunate. Most people seem to just love the solid state and the ease of it, where it's plug and play. You don't have to worry about upgrading tubes.
It
things
does
like
a
Yeah,
great
you
job.
don't,
Yeah.
no temptation for tube rolling.
Yeah, right. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah. Once it warms up, you just set it and leave it.
Yeah.
It's good to go.
And now
But,
we need a DAC for this package.
Yeah, we do. So it's going to be the same. The Sagra.
Yep. It's pretty much a go-to.
Yep.
Yeah. If you want good sound and comparatively affordable price, it's a really good option.
Yeah. Now we've had people go higher end. We've had people run that have Core Daves that put the 11 audio Formula S as a nice buffer type amplifier outside the corridor. So you get into the teens, 15 grand range for a DAC, and and they're still putting a good amp on it on in the end because it just tends to fill out the sound a bit more and just has a better match to the headphone. So we've seen that. But yeah, in the end though, this combination that we have on the table here actually is the Sagra and the 11 Audio Formula S.
Yeah, I think overall for like a really high-end setup, it's comparatively value-oriented, sort of. It's not crazy pricing, but it's very good performance. So compared to spending $15,000 on an amp, it does a great job at a price point that's semi-attainable.
Well, again, and the electronics are around a similar price point to the headphone.
Yeah,
kind of like we did with the other one. So it's there is some logic.
It's a good
in
balance.
And it's just kind of the way things work in this world nowadays. You need balance.
Well, that's helpful.
Yeah, it certainly is.
But if we want to move totally outside of the realm of feasibility and just straight into the stratosphere.
Yeah.
Well, not quite the stratosphere. You can go.
All right. Well, it's not $784,000 or something, but it's quite pricey for a headphone
that turntable
system.
that Michael Fremer just reviewed.
Oh yeah. Now that
What the hell is that called?
Air Force One.
Air Force One.
Yeah.
It was $500,000.
$500,000.
Steep.
Yeah.
And then another $250,000 like for what? The stand?
No, well, he had an HRS stand.
Did it come with it?
No,
It's
no,
optional.
I don't think so.
Yeah, HRS made a custom stand for
It's
it.
something, yeah.
Yeah. Harmonic Resolution Systems.
A
They're
lo-
local here in
yeah.
Buffalo. Yeah. Mike owns the joint. He's the engineer. He's
Yeah,
good.
they're nice.
They make nice shit. It's expensive. But
Yeah,
hell, if you
it's
got a
nice.
$500,000 turntable.
Yeah, yeah.
Why
Anyway,
not? Yeah.
anyway, that'll make this look relatively
yeah.
inexpensive.
Right. It's
So-
like, it doesn't come with a tone arm. You still need a cartridge.
Yeah, right. 20, 30 grand on a cartridge.
Well, I don't think.
Well,
that's
you need
that.
more than one cartridge. So,
Yeah.
Doesn't it have like 2 tone arms?
You can get an optional second.
There you go. So you can run it on.
Yeah.
Depending on which record you're playing, you could
It's like
change between.
$30,000 for your second tone arm.
Anyway, that's crazy money for a turntable, but it is one hell of a cool design, man. God, you imagine what it takes to make one of those? The parts count on that is nuts. Anyway, beautiful. That's beautiful machinery. At there, you're paying for artwork at that point, and as
Refinement.
well at the price as well, it should be artwork.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyway, back to the
Our flagship 1266 system.
So 1266. Now we're going to go up a notch to our 1266 Complete.
Mm-hmm.
And that basically raises the bar on it adds a handmade cable, which really helps the 1266 to be even more resolved, more flushed out, beautiful interface to a really good amp. And since we're at that level with the headphone and the cable, what the hell, we might as well do the biggest tube, one of the largest tube amps made in U.S., assembled in USA that we're aware of.
Largest headphone tube amps.
Oh, yeah, largest headphone tube
I mean, you can
amp.
get a lot bigger
That's true.
too.
Yeah, we have some 250 watt mono amps
Yeah.
out there from Rogue if anyone wants a set of.
Those are big.
With like 8 output tubes per amp or something.
Something like that, yeah.
They weigh about 150 pounds an amp. Anyway, back to this again. We keep going back to going to
Wii
2
U.
channel. Sorry, it's my fault.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
you're right. Anyway, yes. So the 1266 Complete. Headphone, upgrade cable. And we're going to go with the tube amp, the WA33, the Woo Audio WA33.
That had a pretty stellar recommendation from us in the headphone amp tier list. It's a great piece, does a great job. A little on the high-end price point side.
Yeah.
But
starting at $8,000 and going up to probably 18, depending on tubes.
We
and
would
stuff.
recommend the JPS edition variant in this configuration. That seems to be the sweet spot of config, and for this price point, I think it's the one that makes sense most.
It's right in the middle. It's wired with our wiring so that it has a similar coherency compared, relative to the headphone cabling, stuff like that. And upgraded KR audio tubes in it, which we import. We actually had the tubes made specifically for us for our application. I worked with KR with materials and stuff like that. We got a tube that was made for this application. So it's kind of really cool to be able to control the environment to that level. Where the WA33 Woo designed for the 1266, and of course it'll work with
anything.
any flagship. It has gain settings. It has multiple inputs. It'll run balanced RCA. It is a fully balanced 2A3 design, so you do want to run balanced in to get the best out of it. But that amp is cool. I have it at home. I love it. It's It's my favorite amp to use with the 1266 when I want to like crank some AC/DC or something.
Oh.
Okay, I don't always listen to that, but I'm just saying, it's got like gobs of power.
And yeah, at the show, everybody that hears it, they're like, "This is an excellent pairing. It's the best I've heard the 1266," and we tend to agree.
Yeah, it's been out there for a good few years now, so it's got a track record.
You don't hear a lot of negativity with that combo.
No, it's solid. Bottom line, it's probably the best tube amp. We've heard some other amps from other countries and stuff that come and go, but all around, difficult to beat the W33 at the price point.
Mm-hmm.
Really difficult,
And this seems like a good place to slide in the DCS Bartok.
Oh,
That's
yes.
The DAC.
The
wonderful DAC, and we like it. Unfortunately, it's a little out of the range of affordability for most, but if you're really going for it, it's a great piece. It does a great job. And so that's probably the next evolution above something like the 11 Audio Sagra DAC.
Yeah, I also have the DCS Bartok at home, and it's actually, I can swap between sources and amps, so it's real easy for me to do, So currently I think I have the DCS hooked up to the WA33.
Yes, you do.
Of course I do. What else would I do? So obviously I'm running top shelf JPS interconnects and stuff through this. Probably got an Illuminato power cord on the damn thing because that's kind of what I set that up. I set up the WA33 when we were doing it with the KR tubes and our wiring. I found that the nice thing about it is you could step up through really high-end AC cables on that and never really take the amp too far over the top in terms of brightness, resolution, what have you. It just gets clearer, cleaner, more resolved, but never really gets annoying at all. So I love being able to do that, and customers could do that too. You could start at the baseline and then move up, and customers could even do that with the amp. They could buy the basic amp and then get the tubes later, stuff like that.
You can't upgrade the internal wiring so feasibly.
That's a little difficult.
But yeah.
I mean, you could, but
it's
not recommended.
That's a project.
Not tearing it all out.
There's a lot of wire. A lot of wire.
But the Bartok combined with the tubes, fantastic. And when you get to this level 2, we should also discuss cabling. You've really got to start paying attention to the interconnect.
Oh, interconnect.
The power
I was
cords.
gonna say, you already have the upgrade here.
No, the actual connecting the DAC to the amplifier. You really got to start getting into you start talking, and you might as well throw a couple grand at the cables too. You're really going to need that's where you need to be for this stuff. So you got to pay attention to that. And of course, if you contact us, we can recommend where to go on that, because it just depends. A lot of people have that already. A lot of people have better cords. In fact, these products don't even come with power cords. I think the WA33, they put like a standard cord in there. I think like a black beauty. I'm not sure.
It might. I don't even know.
The 11 Audio stuff, it just doesn't come with power cords.
A lot of high-end stuff doesn't come with power cords.
Yeah, everybody always seems to have something laying around.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So you either order like a $10 black power cord with an IEC plug on. And one of the reasons too is we're dealing with all these different countries. Everyone's got different plug styles, so kind of leave it up to you to decide what plug. Some people are in Australia, but they're using U.S. Line conditioners with U.S. plugs.
Yeah,
everyone's got a mixed bag.
Yeah.
So we're just like, it's easier just if you pick the cord you want to use on it. And a lot of people have upgraded cables anyway. And you could get the Bartok with its own built-in
with the amp or not an amp.
It's a pretty good headphone amp for a DAC.
It actually is very good. Yeah. Really good. And it will power the 1266.
It will.
We've had a couple of people I see comment that have it, and they're like, well, I still prefer more power than what's coming out of the Bartok, but it plays.
Well, everybody I've seen that has a 1266 and a Bartok always has a WA33, it seems.
Yeah.
I just saw someone else that had one the other day. I'm like, oh, there's another one.
Yeah. It's a very popular combination.
Yeah.
Probably in part that because we've talked about both of these things before, and we do consider it to be some of the best electronics you can buy for that headphone, period.
Oh, it's spectacular.
Period.
No doubt.
It's a great combination.
It's pretty hard to have someone listen to that and go, meh.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
It's agreed. Yeah. Yeah, you got to really hate tubes.
Yep.
In other words, you're coming up front looking at, I don't even want tubes, so don't bother even putting it in front of me.
Some people do say that.
Until you hear it.
Well, that could be.
And then you realize, well, this ain't as tubey as I thought it was. It's more solid state than it is tubes.
Yeah, I'm not a big tube guy, but that's a great combination.
Yeah. So that's the way to go. Would be the Bartok DAC, the Woo Audio W33, the JPS edition, which I believe we only have it on our website. Woo has other variations on their website. And, of course, the AB1266 TC Complete,
Mm-hmm.
top shelf.
Yeah.
All you need is music.
And a few dollars.
Yeah, and a few
Well,
dollars,
yeah.
yeah. And a good line of credit.
Well, or cash.
Yeah, well, cash works too, yeah. Although most people can't send that to buy things with, you know.
Well,
You put in a FedEx envelope.
yeah, you
Yeah.
could.
That's a stack
It's
of cash.
not recommended.
No, I think someone would figure out what's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's got the
Maybe a box.
squishy feel.
Just send gold coin.
Well, that'd be heavy.
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
I don't know.
Bitcoin?
Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think anyone takes Bitcoin in audio.
Probably.
Someone might.
There's got to be some people out
Probably.
there. There's some
I
interesting.
guess if you give
fellows
someone a
out there.
call, they'll figure it out.
What's a Bitcoin?
Mm.
You'd have to help me with that if someone wanted to pay Bitcoin, because
Oh,
I have no
boy.
idea how to
Oh.
use that stuff.
Okay.
So that's our tier list, people, for our products. And, hope that helps. And by all means, you can always email us or call us.
Yep.
If you have any specific questions and want us to help you assemble an even more stellar system.
Mm.
So on that, thank you everyone for watching. Keep in mind, please subscribe to us because we got more stuff coming. Remember, abyssstore.com. You can get pillows like this behind me and mugs and other things. We got some cool merch there on abyssstore.com. And don't forget, too, that if you don't have a chance to watch a video screen somewhere for YouTube, you can catch our podcasts. We have podcasts on every major service, Apple. In fact, all you got to do is go, "Hey, Siri, play me Top of the Line podcast," and you'll listen to us. I think it starts with the latest episode or works backwards. I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah, depends on what you
Depends
use.
on the platform.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you, everyone. Take care.